Actually, I'd like to start talking not about what the team will look like, but some of the changes in how the team functions and what we're doing right now with that. How many people here use Epic in their practice? Okay. How many of you find it easy and intuitive? Thank you. The same was true for us. Part of what we've been trying to do, and the pictures of the airplane and the birds are there because the relationships are clearly absolutely key, but if we build all the airplanes differently, however each engineer feels that they want to do, or each mechanic, it's probably not going to fly well. So what we try to do is individualize care for our patients while standardizing what we do across our systems and in our processes. And what happened when we started with Epic was we wanted to make it easy for everybody. This is back in 2004. We brought it to our clinics. And we said, whatever you're doing now, just keep doing it the same way, only doing it with electrons instead of paper. And boy, was that a mistake, because we ended up with about 60 different ways to do any given task, and it clearly confused what we're doing, confused the nurses, ended up confusing some of the patients. So after a year, we sat a bunch of our clinicians and nurses and lab folks and clinic assistants down in a room and said, you have 3 days, here's 4 tasks, figure out a good way to do it, doesn't have to be perfect. They did, we spread it out to everybody, and it turned out to be something that worked well enough that we got the National Acclaim Award for it the next year, and we've expanded it. From our original 4 modules, we're now up to 28, plus several clinical modules. The idea behind it is that we want to have the right person doing the right job, something that Michelle just mentioned. And I think that's something that's going to be key as we go forward with continuing limitation of resources and yet need to do more for our patients as some of us do get older and grayer. So we want the right person doing the right job. We want everyone working to the top of their license if at all possible. The reality is that those of us who are clinicians are not secretaries, and it's partly because we're not good secretaries. That's not saying it's not an important job. It means we don't do it well. And so we wanted to be able to do things so that we can do what we are trained to do and do it better, and that nurses can do the same thing. You know, up until a few years ago when we started doing this, our RNs were doing refills and prioritizations for most of their time. That is a waste of nursing time. And by standing more centralized function and more standardized processes, we now let them be nurses. They do population health, they do counseling, they do collaborative care with us clinicians, and it's really been working well. And you know, it can be basic things like how do you deal with test results? Well, right now, every single test result gets looked at the day it comes back. It doesn't depend on me because we've got a workflow that lets that get set up. And it gets out to the patient right away in whatever way they want, whether it's by mail, by phone, electronically, which gives them a choice, makes things more efficient. Things don't get missed as much. We have more support. Those of you who are clinicians here, how many of you enjoy filling out forms? Okay. How many of you get forms that you think somebody should have finished part of this before I got it? We have it, yes. We have a care model process that does that. At each of our clinics, we have a form Zarina or form Queen or occasionally King. And by the time it gets to me, most of the time all I have to do is write a signature. And it's something we've set up through the processes. So the more we can standardize things, and moving forward, the more standard we can be with our teams, the more efficient they're going to be. It also lets us do clinical best practices. I just spent about an hour with a new clinician teaching her our care model process module for opioid use. I know that's another one I won't ask for hands with that because I know how much of an issue that is for pretty much everyone. But because we have that standardized and because we've got the role of each team member set, even as far as pharmacy, our pharmacists will check the state database for us for the prescription monitoring program. I don't have to do that. They'll do the education. They'll do that on top of what I do. And they even help do the taper for opioids for patients who have agreed to do that and move forward. So I think what we're seeing for the future is if we can get some more standard approaches that we can all agree on, that will let us make best use of the new technology and help us to do better care at a lower cost.